All right, guys, welcome back to another TBC beta video. So, for quite a few videos now, I have been discussing all of the things that are great about TBC so far, about how good Paladin feels, about how much I have been enjoying this class. So, unfortunately, I do think that it is kind of high time that I talk about the issues that I am currently having with Prot Paladin and even going around as Ret. And that is mana. Mana is a huge problem for Paladin right now, and I mean it is a big problem. All of our spells cost way too much. I mean, way too much to cast. So let's look at some of the big offenders right now, and then, we'll kind of just, make a decision at the end. So first is going to be Consecrate. Consecrate is so much better now than in Live Classic, because it is doing way more damage, way more damage, which is definitely necessary for the amount of mana that you're investing. So if you're going to cast max rank Consecrate, that is 505 mana. So I am in crazy gear right now, like incredibly good gear, like the best you can get, and that is going to be pretty much 10% of my mana. 10% of my mana to cast one AoE spell. That is absurd. So next, because we're about to cast it, is Hammer of Wrath, 340 mana. A little bit better. It is a finishing move, but that is still an insane amount of mana. The next, and probably and definitely the biggest offender, is Holy Wrath. 685 mana to cast this spell. 685 mana is absurd. I didn't even know how they how they thought that was even close to being reasonable at all. You can only use it once every 30 seconds, but God forbid, if you're trying to do any sort of AoEing, you better be prepared to sit down and drink constantly. As you can see, we've only killed a few mobs, and that's it. We're already having to sit down and drink. The next big one, and this is especially big in dungeons, is going to be Avenger's Shield. Avenger's Shield is 615 mana. Now, it does good damage and has high threat, and it does hit 3 mobs, but 615 mana? Are you serious? Are you absolutely serious that this needed to be 615 mana? How do you justify that? So if you do one full rotation with your Paladin, do an Avenger's Shield, do a Judgment of Righteousness, if you want to throw on your Holy Shield, you're looking at over 1,000 mana spent per mob that you're killing, and that's if you're being very, very conservative with your spells. I'm not even casting Consecrate here, not even rank 1, which is still over 100 mana. It's absurd. It is absurd how much mana it costs to be a Paladin. As a Ret Paladin, I would definitely rely more on your melee swings. Just let your Seal of Commands proc. Don't worry about judging all the time. Definitely don't use your Consecration. It really is just completely absurd how much they make this cost. I don't even want to use Holy Wrath now. It's if it's 2 mobs, it's not even going to be worth it to Holy Wrath. What, maybe 1,000 damage? You're not even getting 1 point of damage per mana spent. It's dumb. So when you are tanking in dungeons, it gets a little bit better. As long as you have a strong healer and you are getting good constant heals, you are at least getting some of your mana back through the passive Spiritual Attunement. So Spiritual Attunement gives you 8% of your mana back based on the amount that you're healed. So if you are healed for 1,000 health, you get 80 mana back. Now in a dungeon, or at least the dungeons that I have been in, I'm not really taking that big, hits of damage. It's little, very small bits, and normally I don't fall below 75% health because my mitigation set is just so good. Now, of course, I could take off more gear, go more into spell power, but it doesn't make that big of a difference. So, what I'm looking at and what I'm hoping is going to help is that when Paladin gets into raids, when we're actually in a raid and we're taking much heavier hits, and we're getting way bigger heals landing on us, more constant heals, I'm hoping that is going to be enough to keep our mana pool up. Because if it's not, I'm actually legitimately worried that Paladin tanks are going to be great for mitigating damage and having good threat and doing like decent damage, but then they're just going to be kneecapped by the sheer amount of mana that everything that they do costs. So I'm on my way to 70. I'm working on it now. I hope that they're going to let us test raids. If they do, I'm definitely going to tank as much as I can. But right now, when you're leveling, the amount that you either have to hork down mana potions or you have to stop and drink, it's frustrating. It's really frustrating. If they lowered the mana cost of everything by like 10% for Paladin, like that alone would make a big difference. It would be really nice if they lowered it. I know they're not going to. I doubt them, streamlining Paladin spells is part of their hashtag some changes. But I just wanted to give people a fair warning that if you're going to level as Prot, if you're going to level as Ret, be prepared to have some serious downtime. Because everything you do just costs so much mana. It's the only unfun thing about Paladin right now. It's my only real gripe, but I wanted to make sure people were warned of it. Aside from that, as always, if you have any questions about Paladin or you want to see me do GDKPs or raid with my guild, you can catch me every single day in the evening, normally 9 p.m. PST, or a little bit earlier over at twitch.tv/the Duke of TBC. And I think that's going to pretty much do it. I hope you enjoyed the video, a little bit of talk about the in-depth Paladin stuff, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Later!